Folks, it's time to suit up for another episode of the Soul Sessions. I'm your host, Soul, but with me today, look at him. He's in tremendous shape. He's the best wrestler on the planet, Ronan King. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, mate. Thank you for having me.
Hey, absolute pleasure, Ronan. But obviously, everyone has a story, and every story has a beginning, Ronan. How did your story begin in the world of professional wrestling?
So I got into wrestling later than most boys. I was maybe 12, so I kind of skipped the whole stage in school when you're young and everyone's talking about John Cena and stuff. I wasn't into it then. It was when I got older, and my little brother was really into it. And I just one day we sat in my mum's office, really bored. Went on her iPad, typed in WWE, and here I am now. Started watching from there. Then I went to two of the events that came to Aberdeen. I think they were amazing. They had like AJ Styles and John Moxley or Dean Ambrose at the time, matches like that. And at one point, I remember turning to my mum, just being like, "Yeah, I want to do this forever." So went into training about 15 down at Wrestlezone here, and never stopped grafting.
Yeah. Damn, no bad pal indeed. And you mentioned AJ Styles and obviously now John Moxley. Were they people that really resonated with you, or was there any other wrestlers that kind of caught your attention?
AJ massively was the one for me. AJ was the one that made me think, yeah, I want to do this forever. At the time, Seth Rollins as well. I mean, I think everyone can see I am influenced by Seth. Seth is a massive, especially as a kid. Roman as well. As a kid, babyface Roman worked. I did go off him when he feuded with AJ because AJ was cooler in my eyes.
Okay.
He was up there.
Definitely. Obviously the hardcore fans hated Roman during that time, the whole push down their throats. But obviously, do you think it was maybe a bit too harsh? Some fans were, or do you think maybe?
No, I think Roman wasn't the natural one for the role. Now he's in the role he's in. But as a kid, it is good guy, bad guy. Roman was a good guy, fighting off the bad guys. I liked Roman. You know what I mean?
Hey, it is what it is. And obviously, you mentioned the Shield there, love for John Moxley, love for Seth, love for Ronan. And I personally feel like the Shield are probably one of the greatest factions of all time, more than DX, more than Heart Foundation. Would you agree with that? Or do you think maybe there's a better faction out there?
So if we're talking most influential and what the guys are going down to do now, Shield clears everything. All the guys are world champions. They're all at the best of the game. They're all at the top of most cards. I mean, two of them are world champions right now.
True.
Wrestling standpoint, if we're just talking my personal favorites, Undisputed Era, completely up there for me. I loved Undisputed Era. So I'm a massive fan of them. Yeah, obviously Bullet, the Elite, that sort of era. That's definitely up there for arguing for most influential factions of all time. Because now there's a whole company because of them that's doing amazing.
That's fair enough point indeed, my friend. We've had Bobby Fish on this show, and Bobby talked about how he felt like Undisputed Era was basically the pillars of NXT itself. Would you agree with that, or do you think maybe Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano were pillars, or do you think it was solely Undisputed Era?
I would argue Gargano and Ciampa were also pillars, but if you look at the core of Black and Gold NXT, it is Undisputed Era, Ciampa, Gargano. I'd say they're your key six to that brand. They carry through. Adam Cole especially, I'd say Adam Cole was NXT for ages. When he went on that title run, the one that was just went on for that Keith Lee ended, that had me hooked. NXT, that was it. Adam Cole was my favorite for so long.
Definitely, they were absolutely great wrestlers, and sadly, NXT Black and Gold would become what I like to call it NXT Skittles 2.0. I can't imagine as a fan of NXT seeing it changed into that was kind of a low blow moment for the brand.
It was a shame because NXT was the WWE show where you could go for the quality wrestling match, like the absolute bangers, the clinics, all the 5-star matches, stuff you wouldn't normally see as much on the main roster because they were allowed to bring the more independent style in. And I think changing it was it was a low blow because it was like they fired most of them or laid them off or brought them up. And it felt like they just brought in college athletes. It's like they didn't really have experience. Like the other guys worked so hard to get there to then have it pulled out. It's a shame because I think there's not many people from NXT 2.0 that have stood up. Really, like you've got your Braun Breaker, your Carmelo Hayes, and then Grayson Waller. There's boys that have come in, but I wouldn't like Dragon off and stuff. But I'd say it's never going to get back to black and gold again, like that peak era.
Yeah, definitely. We can hold those memories close to our hearts and look back at them on the network. But I want to know, before we move off from NXT, Ronan, what is your favorite NXT black and gold match?
Cole and Gargano 3 Stages of Hell. That was it. As a massive Adam Cole fan at the time, I still remember I was sitting on a bus back from Italy from going on a school trip, watching that. Yeah, this is it. This is amazing.
Wow, I couldn't imagine the bus was wondering when you were screaming and getting hyped in the back of the bus.
I had a few of my teachers watching with me as well as my pals, so got it. So
not too shabby, but indeed. But also, you would, always being a fan, but you would get in the squared circle. What was the moment that made you think, yeah, I'm going to go do training. I'm actually going to become a wrestler?
I think it was the whole point of growing up. And, all your friends are saying, oh, what do the rest of your life? I couldn't tell you anything I cared about, like wrestling. Like, I'd say I don't care about things for a long period of time. I'm quite switchy. But wrestling is the one thing that's always been there. And I've never gone off it. And it's always stayed forefront and center in my mind. To the point where I was like, well, everyone else is making these calls. I've got to make the call. If I want to do wrestling, I've got to go for it. Like, I've got one life. I want to live it. I want to chase my dream as far as I can take it. Because when I'm sitting in 80 in my rocking chair, even if I fail everything, at least I'll know I tried, rather than sitting there being like, oh, what if I went with it? What if I took it that far?
Exactly. So, you're not thinking the ifs, you're thinking you did. You did.
Yeah. So that was the main reason for why I was like, yeah, this is why I want to start training.
Of course, when I've spoken to many people and they talk about training, one thing that always comes up is hitting those ropes is an absolute bitch. Would you agree?
Yeah. Cuts all down the back the first few times you do it. Completely. It was the one because they look elastic and you see them hit them and you're like, oh, they're firing out. No, ropes suck like a son of a bitch. They suck, man.
Do you think that's the main thing some fans don't understand about training, is that the ropes are like, rock hard, or maybe like the flooring of the ring or anything else?
I get that a lot because obviously a lot of my mates who aren't in wrestling, they don't get it. And it's hard to explain to them, like, no, the rope isn't trampoline. Believe me, it sucks. The ropes suck. Like, it hurts more than people let on, because obviously it's staged, but it's staging a sense of how willing are you to put your body through pain for this match. It's not staged as in, oh, everything's fun and lovely and nothing hurts. Like, no, it hurts. So that's, I'd say, the main thing is trying the floor, especially because, of course, it's empty underneath the ring.
Yeah,
that's where you get the bounce from. It's not trampoline. It's not. So
no. If it was a trampoline, it would be a lot nicer, and you'd be people like, oh, this is lovely. I love being in the ring. But nah, it's just fucking wood planks. I hate that shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's like people don't get it. You see it when trainees come in and they take their first few bumps. They're like, yep, you didn't expect to suck that much, did you? Like, everyone thinks it's nice. I'm like, no, it's not.
A hard blast of reality hit them right in the face.
Exactly. It's like my body hurts every day now. And I'm like, you know what I mean?
God damn. And obviously, Ron, you would have some couple matches, but you don't want to go through them. Obviously, you would have a match during the festive time, Christmas Chaos for Wrestlezone. What was it like wrestling that match against Evan Young?
So that was an awesome experience. So me and Evan, as of right now, Wrestlezone are just opening up their new youth class again, which is phenomenal. Anyone who's 14, 15, or any age, if you're in Aberdeen or just anywhere near, Wrestlezone's the place to be. Like, it's such a good training environment. I have coaches that they'll never tell me everything's perfect. It's like, that was good, but you can improve. It's sometimes it's tough love, but that's what makes everyone better. Like in Wrestling, all the boys were so used to being like, it's all after a finish a match. It's not, oh, how good was that? It was, that was really good. How can we get better for the next one? So I think it's a really good environment, really healthy, everyone's supportive, everyone's your friend, and you know when they're giving you feedback, it comes from the place of we really want you to, and we want you to go further with this. Mm-hmm. So, me and Evan were two of those kids that did that. He started a couple months before me, but we basically trained together the whole time through our youth. So originally I wasn't on the show. I debuted on the show before, but it was a smaller training academy show that like only 50 people were there, and some of it was most of it was my family. So getting the call that, yeah, we want you, I think I got told 2 weeks, and I would have stressed out if it was anyone but him. But because I knew all this stuff, trained together for like three years at that point, like every time training with each other, I was like, okay, we can do something good here. And to me, that match still, I love that match. I think it went really well.
That was great to see, you know, and there's obviously many great characters in wrestling. One that I saw and I was kind of like taking a step back. Who the hell is this? A guy called Cysto. You know, you and him would face off. Yeah. What's with the yellow get up, man? He's like a weird smiley guy. What is up?
So Cysto is, how do I describe Cysto? He's an alien from another world that comes down and wrestles every now and then. Okay. It was a chaotic match. Chaos. But from a character standpoint, it was perfect because I'm a guy that's become very big on character, or was always big on character. I kind of know what to say. I know what I am when I ring. And that was a match I just got to have a lot of fun because he's such a silly character. But for my character, it makes sense that I can be shown up like that. So really enjoy that match as well.
You mentioned character there, and I feel like a common theme with this season of the Soul Sessions is character work and ring psychology sort of being like a lost art. Do you agree with that, Ronan, that ring psychology is a lost art in modern wrestling?
Yeah, and I think everyone can be bad for it, and I'm bad for it. But like a lot of time it's moves. That's what we all think about is, oh, how cool would this move look? How cool would that look? And they do look sick. And I'm a big fan for them. I do cool moves, looking at cool moves. But when you break it down now, I think wrestling is going through another phase of we're moving on to bigger characters. Like Joe Hendry, obviously I've trained with Joe a lot. Me and Joe get on really well. And he's one of the ones that's talking me through this most. But you see Joe's gone to Impact and he's brought this amazing character with him and all these songs and these vignettes and all his promos. He's got this, he knows what he is, and he's got this character with him. And look how over he is. Like he's got the crowd singing his theme, clapping time for him. Like he's killing it. And you look at AEW and one of the boys I think is the best, MJF. Like, what does MJF really do in the ring? He can do the cool stuff, proves it, and he does cool things when he needs to. But most of the time, it will be a basic move and a nice little pose. And he's phenomenal. And he gets so much heat. Everyone hates him, but you love to hate. That's the thing.
Absolutely. You know, MJF is a cheeky bastard. Very much. But, you know, you mentioned Joe Hendry there, who I absolutely love. And also his songs, you know, so many great ones. My personal one is the one he did against Matt Cardona. And also the Lionheart is a fanny one. I want to know for you, Ron, is there a particular favorite Joe Hendry song?
So Edge's Bitch was up there for Matt Cardona. I loved his What Is Love for North. I thought that was, I just loved that song. And his Wrecking Ball one was, I just thought the image of him coming out in the massive inflatable ball was phenomenal, hilarious. I loved it.
Hell of a tune. And you know, when you kind of brushed against some icons and legends in wrestling, you've met, you know, Scott Garland as well. I want to know what that was like.
He's just a lovely guy. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. He just sat down and he's so captivating to just listen to. Everything he's saying has a point. Like you can tell a massive 20-minute story and you'll get why he's done it, what the message is. And he's another that's very big on character work. And he was talking a lot about all he did to get over was a silly dance move. And that's something that I think I took on a bit. I was like, oh, maybe I don't have to do all these insane all the time. Because sometimes, or most of the time, I get a bigger reaction from taking a kid's hat and throwing it off his head than I would if I did something. Because the thing is, wrestling's gone. Like everyone in wrestling is so athletic now, and everything's so impressive that sometimes we should save some of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just do the basic stuff.
The old classic saying, less is more, eh?
Exactly. And then when the more happens, it's a wow factor.
Indeed.
You know?
And obviously someone you've actually faced in the ring as well, you know, someone is sentimental with ICW, Grado. Fuck, Grado is a hell of a guy. What's it like wrestling Grado?
That is honestly up there with one of my favorite matches of all time. That was such a surreal experience. I remember I almost passed out before the match. I was so nervous. I was so ready to just go out. And I was getting my pump on, and I was like, oh my gosh, panicking. Went out, did my entrance, got in the ring. I'm like, okay, feeling a bit relaxed. And to hear his music and all the crowd singing along and the massive reactions he's getting, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. This is going to be so much fun. And again, that was a match where we didn't have to do that much. Also, I whipped out my flip, which is still probably the most impressive thing I've ever done in wrestling, flipping out the ring to my feet. But it just worked so well in the way that we could work that flip into the spots after. And he was a lovely guy, and that match was amazing, and the reactions were so good, and he was very complimentary after, which was amazing to hear. He was a lovely guy.
No, absolutely. And you mentioned, you know, the anxiety before the match. I can't imagine when, you know, the bell hit afterwards the match and that feeling just flowing out of you. Was that kind of an easy way to describe it, or was there other emotions that came over you after the match?
I think even when I'm in the ring, I think that's when I get relaxed. Or the second I come out and I scream, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling a bit more relaxed. But obviously through the match, so like, okay, we have to get through. We have to get through. What's next? You're trying to. There's a lot of factors in your mind when you're doing the match. The second that bell rung, I was just like, yeah, that was unreal. It was so good. And I remember I came to the back and everyone was so complimentary and lovely. And that's the thing at Wrestlezone, we have such a good family. And it was very emotional. And that's when I was like, I can't even describe it. It was phenomenal. He's such a great guy. After the match was so great with everything. And during the match as well, or before even, he would let me, he'd really listen to what I wanted to do and what I was thinking. And obviously he'd shut stuff down, but he'd bring up stuff more. And he made sure I got just as much in as I wanted. At a point, completely on the fly, we had just started punching, went, keep going, this is really good. He just went, okay, slam me now. So I was very happy he let me slam him, because that was a great image for me. But yeah,
no, definitely
great match. One of the best nights of my life.
Absolutely, memories we like to make, and you know, Grado's so closely associated with ICW. I want to know, Ron, is ICW on your list of places to go?
Of course, like everywhere is on my list to go right now. I just want to wrestle as much as possible. Absolutely everywhere I can. So, of course, ICW would be great. It'd be great. I'd love to do it.
For that, Ronan, you actually have a bit of an accolade. You've actually faced a former guest of the show. You faced Judas Grey.
I heard he was just on it.
Yeah, he was indeed. That's how I'm a workhorse. You know, I gotta like to get these episodes out. But you know, I gotta know from your point of view facing Judas, what was your thoughts on it?
So where even start me? I love Judas. Me and him we're obviously take away the whole when we have this whole feud with the character. But if you take away all that, like he's such a great guy. He's one of my best mates. Like we're super tight. So I met him when I went down to Joe's and started training a bit at Joe's as well as Wrestlezone.
Okay.
And I clicked. And we just got on really well. And me, him, and Emerson Jane, again, we've got a little family going on there. Oh. It is lovely, and they're both so good in the ring and so knowledgeable, and we all push each other and drive each other up. It's such a healthy environment to be in, especially with Emerson, who's like older and way more experienced than any of us, and is phenomenal. It's really nice when she can help us lift us up and teach us stuff, you know, kind of coach us through this whole experience, because it's a wild one. But back to Judas, I mean, that match was so much fun. And we have good chemistry. We know each other's stuff. And we've wrestled at Wrestle Carnival which was so much fun with Kaz as well. And then we're Monstrum now. And then disco as well. To be my disco debut, couldn't ask for anyone better. It was a lot of fun. And in fact, a week today, I don't know when it's going up, but very soon, me and him are going off to Germany together to train at WXW. That'll be a very exciting experience.
He did mention that indeed, and that's going to be a hell of a trip. What other kind of countries are on your radar for learning?
So obviously America, complete up there, but Japan, I would kill to go to Japan. I think it's such a unique culture experience. And I've trained with Chris Ridgway, who wrestles for Noah. And it was just everything he was doing or explaining is such almost a different environment. It's so interesting. It's something I'd love to just dig my teeth more into. I love Japan. And Will Ospreay is one of my favorite wrestlers in the world, and he's in Japan. So I just love that. I love the style. I think obviously with the bigger character, it's harder, but I'd love to be able to have big character and all this in the ring to back up a Japanese style. I think it would be killer. Japan would be my main one. Obviously, I'd love to come to America. That's completely on radar as well.
Even Japan's just such a beast, It's got such great talent, great culture. Obviously, New Japan, they love their factions, Bullet Club, Chaos, United Empire. I want to know, Ronan, they gave you an invitation to join any New Japan faction. Which one?
Oh. Well, it instantly goes down to two. So it goes down to United Empire. Yeah, I love the United Empire. I think Will Ospreay, I'd say right now, is my favorite wrestler in the world, and he has been for the past couple of years. Aussie Open as well. All the boys there, Jeff Cobb, everyone's so good, and I love what they've got going. But then Bullet Club's got that legacy, and Bullet Club's so influential in wrestling that it would be super cool to be like, yeah, I'm a Bullet Club. That's complete bragging, right?
Yeah.
And bring in new Impact boys and stuff like Ace and Bay and stuff. Can I leave that to a 50-50? I couldn't answer right now. I could not answer.
Nice. I'm no hard ass. No worry. I'll no bust your balls over rules or anything. Don't you worry. But I mean, think about it. You and Bullet Club, you'd be basically King Bullet, I would guess. You would have the whole shirt and everything. Get that much.
So New Japan, if you got a space, I'm right here.
Oh, absolutely. Get on the phone. New Japan Pro Wrestling. But, obviously New Japan as well, you've had such great legacy with titles. The current championship, the Intercontinental, and obviously the iconic V4. But there's another one, the US title, which obviously Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega have had their little rivalry with, Forbidden Door and Wrestle Kingdom. I want to know, which match do you think is better, the Wrestle Kingdom match or the match at Forbidden Door?
I've watched these two matches a lot. That's my thing. They're so different because the one match Omega's completely on top, one match Ospreay is completely on top. I'm gonna say Forbidden Door. I think overall the match was great. I wish Don Callis wasn't involved. I get why he had to be, but I like just see them too. But I think Forbidden Door one was phenomenal, and I've watched it later, so I've got more memory of it. So
fair play.
Both were unreal matches.
Absolutely, but we do have AW All In coming later in the year. Is this going to be a trilogy? Do you think we should see Ospreay and Omega free at All In?
No, I think we should go off to Wrestle Kingdom. I think you put. Obviously, I don't know if I have, but your ideal All In is the Elite, Omega and the Bucks versus CMFDR, and then I'd say Ospreay Danielson for Gista. Just why not?
Ooh. Yeah. I mean, hey, I've always thought maybe Ospreay versus MJF at All In.
Yeah, it could work, and Ospreay would be so over coming into the hometown, and MJF gets so much hate. It'd be amazing. And the thing is, they've got such different styles, but I think they can mesh well together. So,
absolutely.
You've said that now. I've not thought about it, and now it's like, I'd be down for that.
Well, hey, viewers, you've heard it first. So if anyone else says it, you heard it here first. I called it. Let's go with that. But obviously, I want to know, Ospreay's had, two really good themes, Elevated, and there's obviously his Commonwealth Kingpin theme. which theme do you prefer, Elevated or the Commonwealth Kingpin?
I was literally talking about this on the car yesterday with Zach Dynamite. Elevated, but none of them are bad. I think the one he had Wrestle Kingdom this year, where he did the start of the Kingpin one, faded into the Elevated, was that was the best thing. That was beautiful. So that one there.
Oh, good call. Now going back to yourself, Rowan, obviously Discovery Wrestling just had their Disco Derby and you were on the VIP match, as you are the most valuable king. But obviously some cheeky guy in the crowd called you a discount Logan Paul.
Oh. Yeah. I was the past 6 wrestling shows I've been called Logan Paul.
Oh.
Obviously the hair has been switched up to the blonde mullet. So
good heavens, man. I mean, do you see that as like Logan Paul, cool, he's a cool wrestler, or do you think, nah, this is the dickhead, I ain't being associated with the prime guy?
I don't mind it. Like there are worse people to be called than Logan Paul. Like Logan Paul's he's good in the ring, isn't he? And you know what? Maybe I'll come up with my own little energy drinks. Then I'll start fully living it. You'll see like Primey or something at the next show.
Ronan King and Dime, ladies and gentlemen, the latest drink of the king.
There we go. Beautiful. I might have to pull it up now.
Oh, man's getting the merch and all that stuff ready. Well, Ronan, obviously there's yourself. And let's say Tony Khan came to you and said, hey, Ronan, I want you having a match at All In. I want you to showcase UK wrestling. Who do you want against the AEW roster as your match?
Oh, who would I have for? Oh, you're gonna have to give me a minute.
The mind's going.
I know. Darby would be fun. I think my idea could very much gel well with a little emo boy, such as it did with Judas. I think that could be quite fun. And Darby's obviously insane and great, so we could do some real fun stuff. Obviously, as just me being me, I'd love to wrestle Omega. Punk would be fun. Punk would be ace.
Punk would be ace. My God. Well, I think you got to get in line with Judas because Judas said Darby, so maybe that might be a triple threat.
Oh, there are worse triple threats out there. That would be a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Absolutely. Obviously this year as well is also a special moment for Bullet Club. It's the 10th anniversary as well. We had Marty on, talked about how much he loved Bullet Club and all of that. I want to know for yourself, Ronan, who is your 5 top Bullet Club members?
Okay, so we'll go with AJ, Omega, Balor, or Devin. It's tend to just go with the 4 leaders, but and then or the 5 you count Carl Anderson, but Jay White. I will go with the 4 leaders. Okay. Now who's my 5th? It's got to be Cody, isn't it? It's got to be Cody.
Ooh, not bad choices indeed for Bullet Club. And the hell of a 10th anniversary to celebrate for that club. But obviously, Ronan as well, Money in the Bank just happened. Hell of a moment, hell of a show. And, have you seen the show as well?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not going to be a spoiler guy. Thank fuck. But I want to know your John Cena coming out and saying that he's going to try and get WrestleMania in the UK.
Well,
think possibility, can it happen?
Sure, it can. I think Tony Khan's proved it with Wembley. Like, it's a big market down here, and if that's what AEW are pulling, then what are WWE going to pull? Because AEW is great for people like me and you who are more into wrestling. But even people just hear the name WWE and be like, "Oh, interested." So I don't even know if there's a stadium big enough that they could run.
Ooh.
But I think they've got to do it now.
Well, they've said it. They have said it.
I was watching it with Bruiser Brad, Ryan Riley, and Conor Malloy last night, and they're saying they said it. We're all like, so we're all getting tickets, right? If this does happen, yeah, we're all good. I mean, not me. I'll obviously be booked in the main event, but the other three can. Yeah.
Oh, of course, absolutely. You versus Drew McIntyre for the championship. I see it as a hell of a UK event.
That's a big match. That's a big money match.
Well, absolutely, Ronan. Well, Ronan, my friend, it has been a pleasure having you on the Soul Sessions. But what I love to do with every guest, if they've loved what they heard of you and they want to see you in the ring, what dates have you got lined up for the rest of the year?
Oh, put me on the spot. I have to check my calendar. So, all Wrestlezone shows coming up, I am on. I've got, what else have I got coming up? I've got Community Pro Wrestling Halloween.
Ooh.
And yeah, can't think of stuff. Follow me on social media and you'll see all my dates.
Don't worry, viewers. You can't complain and be lazy because his Instagram link for Ronan King will be in the description of this YouTube video. You just have to click one button, click the link, follow him, and see more of the King in action. So you cannot complain. Well, viewers, thank you very much for tuning in for another episode of the Soul Sessions with myself, Soul, and Ronan King. Thank you, everyone, and peace.